June 24, 2025. The world holds its breath as a fragile ceasefire settles over the decades-long shadow war between Israel and Iran. For years their conflict raged in the shadows. Proxies, cyber attacks, assassinations, threatening to ignite the entire Middle East. The animosity seemed permanent, yet today, against all odds, the guns are silent. This is the story of how two former allies became bitter enemies, shaping the modern Middle East and drawing in superpowers. From Beirut's streets to Iran's secret nuclear sites, their rivalry has left scars across the region. The path to this moment has been bloody, driven by fear, ambition, and existential dread on both sides. The recent escalation nearly tipped the world into direct war. American bombers struck Iranian military and nuclear sites, sending a powerful message and pushing the region to the brink. In that moment of maximum tension, an unexpected figure brokered a peace, forcing both sides to step back. Is this ceasefire a genuine thaw, or just a tactical pause before the next round of conflict? The distrust runs deep, the wounds are fresh, and the core issues remain unresolved. To understand the fragility of today's peace, we must look back at how this epic rivalry began. The journey from alliance to animosity is complex, marked by revolution, ideology, and relentless power struggles. The world now faces profound questions. Is this the start of something new, or merely a lull in an endless storm? The stakes could not be higher. Let's trace the origins of this dangerous rivalry. Once Israel and Iran were quiet partners united by shared strategic interests. In the 1950s to 70s, under the Shah, Iran was a pro-Western monarchy and a pillar of American policy. Israel, surrounded by hostile Arab states, found a discreet ally in Tehran. Both nations saw Arab nationalism as a threat and built a covert alliance, sharing intelligence, military projects, and trade. Israeli experts aided Iran's agriculture and military. Iran supplied Israel with oil through secret pipelines. This partnership was pragmatic, not ideological, and managed in secrecy by Mossad and Savak. For nearly 3 decades, national interests overrode religious and ideological divides, but the alliance depended entirely on the Shah's regime. As the Shah grew more autocratic and disconnected, resentment simmered among Iranians who saw his Western ties as a betrayal. The foundation was unstable, and a revolution was brewing. When it erupted, it would not just topple a monarch, it would shatter the entire strategic landscape of the Middle East. The era of quiet cooperation was about to end. In 1979, the Iranian Revolution upended everything. The Shah was overthrown. Ayatollah Khomeini's Islamic Republic rose, rooted in anti-Western, anti-Israel ideology. The once friendly relationship with Israel was severed overnight. The Israeli embassy became the PLO's, a powerful symbol of the new regime's priorities. For Khomeini, Israel was an illegitimate entity, a cancer in the Muslim world. The liberation of Palestine became a sacred duty, central to Iran's foreign policy. The pragmatic alliance was replaced by an ideological crusade. Israel lost a key partner and gained a relentless enemy. Iran sought to export its revolution, challenging Israel and the Arab monarchies alike. The conflict became existential, framed as a religious struggle with no room for compromise. The stage was set for decades of shadow war, fought through proxies, sabotage, and relentless hostility. The Middle East would never be the same. With the alliance shattered, the 1980s and 90s saw Israel and Iran wage war by proxy. Iran, unable to strike Israel directly, funded militant groups like Hezbollah and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. These proxies became Iran's long arm, inflicting pain on Israel while maintaining plausible deniability. Israel countered with intelligence operations, sabotage, assassinations, and disruption of Iran's networks. The result, a deadly rhythm of attacks and reprisals rarely acknowledged but deeply destabilizing. The battlegrounds were Lebanon, Syria, and Palestine. Local populations paid the highest price. This shadow war defined the conflict for decades, with each side escalating in response to the other. The cycle of violence became self-perpetuating, fueling instability across the region. Direct confrontation was avoided, but the cost was borne by countless innocents. The shadow war was relentless, shaping the Middle East's modern history. The seeds of future escalation were sown in these covert battles. Israel's 1982 invasion of Lebanon created a power vacuum Iran quickly filled. The IRGC organized Lebanon's Shia community, giving rise to Hezbollah, a militia, political movement, and Iran's most effective proxy. Hezbollah's goals: expel Israel from Lebanon and join the fight against Israel itself. Armed and funded by Iran, Hezbollah pioneered tactics like suicide bombings, shocking the world. Throughout the 80s and 90s, Hezbollah waged a war of attrition, leading to Israel's withdrawal from Lebanon in 2000, a victory for Iran and its proxy. The 2006 Lebanon War marked a new escalation. Hezbollah survived Israel's assault and fired thousands of rockets into northern Israel. The war proved Iran, through Hezbollah, could threaten Israel's home front directly. The shadow war had moved to Israel's doorstep. Hezbollah became a model for Iran's proxy strategy across the region. The conflict's intensity and complexity only deepened. In the 2000s, the rivalry escalated as Iran's secret nuclear program came to light. For Israel, a nuclear-armed Iran was an existential threat. Israel led a global campaign for sanctions and warned that military action was on the table. The US joined imposing harsh sanctions and pressuring Tehran. Behind the scenes, Israel allegedly unleashed covert operations, assassination, sabotage, and the Stuxnet cyber attack. These acts delayed Iran's program but hardened its resolve. The nuclear issue became a technological and intelligence arms race. Iran buried its facilities and improved defenses. Israel sought new ways to penetrate them. The shadow war had gone nuclear, raising the stakes to unprecedented levels. Every escalation fueled deeper mistrust and greater danger. The world watched, fearing the next step could be catastrophic. By late 2024, Iran's uranium enrichment neared weapons grade, crossing a red line for Israel and the US. The US launched targeted strikes on Iranian nuclear sites and military sites, pushing the region to the brink of all-out war. Iran vowed retaliation, proxies were put on alert, global markets plunged. In this moment of crisis, an unexpected mediator emerged in United States President Donald Trump. Acting as a private citizen, Trump leveraged his relationships to open back-channel talks. He offered both sides a face-saving way out, warning of the devastation a full-scale war would bring. Shocked by the strikes and exhausted by conflict, both sides saw a narrow window for de-escalation. Trump's unconventional diplomacy broke the deadlock. Rapid, tense negotiations led to a stunning ceasefire agreement. The world exhaled, if only for a moment. The Trump Accord was historic but limited. A set of de-escalation measures, not a peace treaty. Iran agreed to halt uranium enrichment above 5%, dismantle advanced centrifuges, and ship enriched uranium abroad. In return, the US eased key economic sanctions, giving Iran an economic lifeline. Iran also pledged to stop arming proxies with advanced weapons. Israel agreed to halt military operations in Syria and Lebanon. A hotline was established to prevent accidental escalation, and IAEA inspectors gained unprecedented access to Iran's nuclear sites. The terms were strict, the timeline aggressive. The accord managed mistrust, not trust. It was a transactional pause, not a resolution. The guns are silent, but the future is uncertain. The journey from alliance to enmity has shaped the Middle East for decades. The ceasefire addresses urgent threats, but the core ideological conflict remains. Iran's anti-Israel stance endures. Israel's distrust persists. Proxy networks and military infrastructures are still in place. Many fear this is just a strategic pause, not lasting peace. The world stands at a crossroads. Is this a new era or a fleeting calm before another storm? The answer depends on whether leaders can build on this fragile foundation. History, ideology, and fear still threaten to pull both sides back into conflict. The world watches and waits, breath held, for what comes next. Thank you for watching History Icebreakers.